Hey everybody, it's Galmadex and welcome back to another premiere draft of Amonkhet Remastered. And today, I think I'm going to slam down our rare. Hour of Revelation is 6 mana to destroy all non-land permanents. That's all the text you need on this thing. For it to be a pretty bonkers limited card, definitely better in a slower, more controlling deck, but being able to 2 and often 3 for one your opponent is always going to be a great time. One thing that's a little awkward about this card is that white tends to be more aggressive than controlling in this format. However, one of the things that makes this card work pretty well is that white does have a lot of cards with Embalm. Embalm is an ability that allows you to recast your creature from the graveyard by exiling it. You just get like a token version of it, basically. So you have a lot of creatures that'll give you late game value, late game recursion, stuff like that, that can make your decks survive through a long game and play a little bit slower. So there's definitely a deck you can build that can make great use of Hour of Revelation, and it's just going to be my pick one, pack one here. Desert's Hold might be a little more flexible, a little better. Desert's Hold is just 3 mana enchant a creature, it can't attack, block, or use its activated abilities. Might be a little better since it's more flexible, so you could use it in an aggressive or controlling deck, but I'm also just going to prioritize the rares a little bit for my collection purposes. As you can see, I have barely drafted this set in comparison to the other sets I've drafted, so I am still needing a lot of rares and even commons and uncommons from the set for collection purposes, so I'm going to prioritize the rare probably a little higher than I should there. Here, the white cards aren't great. There's a single white card and it's Supply Caravan, a 5 mana 3/5 that maybe spits out a 1/1. So we're going to go off color here. We have Supreme Will, which is a counter spell or a draw spell, so it's a flexible card. Cartouche of Strength is great because it's a removal spell as well as a cartouche. Cartouches are these auras, like Cartouche of Ambition and Cartouche of Strength here, that do something good just as an aura, and when they enter the battlefield, as well as being able to return any trials that you have. Trials are uncommon enchantments that have a big enter the battlefield effect. So I do like taking the cartouches relatively highly, especially the ones that are like really good by themselves, because if you happen to get any trials, having trials and cartouches in the same deck can lead to a lot of really good value being able to recast your trials. So I'm going to take the Cartouche of Strength there. It's just a great removal spell in general, plus the fact that if I get trials, it's excellent. Makes me want to pick it really highly. So unfortunately, there is a rare in here, but it's just unplayable and limited. Bounce a bunch of stuff and then discard and draw cards. So not taking that for collection purposes. Here I think I'll just take Better Bow Sharpshooters. Just a great rate for the cost. 5 mana for a 4/4 Vigilance Reach. Blocks incredibly well because it gets to keep attacking in and blocking, and it can block flyers. I like the Sharpshooters here to go with that Cartouche of Strength. We have the white cards aren't powerful again, just a Sacred Cat and an in Oketra's Name. Little pump spell and a little cat. Nothing huge there for white. So I like the Bitter Bow Sharpshooters for green. What do we have here? A lot of good cards. Aven Initiate is a 3/2 flyer that can embalm and come back. That is one of those mechanics I was talking about that can help with the slower decks, just getting recurable creatures like that. There is Oketra's Avenger, though, which is just a great aggressive card. 2 mana for a 3/1 that you can exert it when it attacks. Exerting makes it not untap during your next turn. But if you do that, you prevent all damage that would be dealt to it. So you can attack in with this when your opponent has like a 1/1 token out and still make sure that it doesn't trade with that. At least it eats one of their creatures without dying. So I do like Oketra's Avenger quite a bit. And that'll stick us in green-white here still. I guess there's a lot of black stuff here. Wasteland Scorpion being solid. Destined to Lead could be good if we do black-green, so maybe we hop into black here, but I'm going to play it a little safe here and just stick to what we have so far, sticking to white-green thus far. I do like Beneath the Sands. There's some good ramp stuff you can do in the format, and splashing can be good. Plus this card cycles in the late game when you don't need the land, so I like that card. Cheetah's okay, Companion's okay. I like Hope Tender as well. It's kind of like mana fixing on just untapping a land, and it's mana ramp if you exert it to untap 2 lands. Yeah, I think I'll just take a Hope Tender here. Lethal Sting might be about the best card in here, destroying a creature for 3, but it's pretty comparable to Hope Tender. Hope Tender can do some good ramp things. Yeah, I guess it is a little better. If we want to hop into black here, we have seen a good amount of black. That is an option. But just take Hope Tender, stick to green. And the black in this pack is bad. It's just Miasmic Mummy. 2/2 that makes everybody discard a card. However, in green, we have a couple really good options in this pack. All of the deserts are fantastic. They're lands that can cycle to make sure that you don't get flooded. So if you top deck this as your 6th or 7th land or something, the versatility of being able to cycle this cannot be overestimated. It makes these really good cards and relatively high picks. That being said, I feel like I do this a lot where I say that something is a higher pick than you would think it would be, and then just take something else in the pack. Yeah, that being said, Oasis Ritualist is fantastic. It taps for 1 mana of any color no matter what, as just a 4 mana 2/4, so a nice little ramp card that blocks really well. But the fact that you can exert this to add 2 mana of any one color to your mana pool means that there's a lot of decks you can end up in this format that can just have like 3 copies of Oasis Ritualist. And if you have 3 copies of Oasis Ritualist, you can splash in like any bomb that you open up later. Oasis Ritualist just gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of what you're doing with your mana in the late game. So any late game powerful cards, just slap them in the deck. It'll work out fine. I don't know what's better between Ornery Kudu and Hooded Brawler. There's some ways to remove -1/-1 counters that can make Kudu good, but Hooded Brawler can attack in really large. So I don't know. I'll just take the Hooded Brawler there. The Camel's all right as well, being able to add or remove a counter when you play it. So there's a black desert here. We're not married to white, so we could take that in case we go in black. I don't love the green cards here. I'm not going to play Dissenter's Deliverance. And I guess it cycles, but it is main deckable because if your opponent's not playing Artifact, cycling for 1 mana is not that expensive. But I don't think I'll play a Washra Cultivator. I don't think I want to splash that badly. I guess it's okay. Yeah, I'm just going to take... I guess I could take a white cartouche here, but I'm just going to take the black desert in case black ends up super open. One thing I know for sure is that green is wide open. If we're seeing Cartouche of Strength here, pick 9, it's either that or people just do not want to read massive text boxes, which is fair as well. With Wizards offering the first draft of this format free to everybody, I'm assuming there are players that are a little bit newer to the format, and there are some really long text boxes like those in Cartouche of Strength that might make these cards go a little later just because people don't have time to read them. But Cartouche of Strength, 3 mana for Prey Upon, always a fantastic deal. 3 mana, +1/+1 trample, fight a creature. Fantastic card. As is the Bitterbow Sharpshooters, just a lot simpler, just a good rate for the 5 mana. Pretty late Aven Initiate, that seems solid. Maybe I overvalue this card, but I do like the Embalm stuff, and I like flyers, but Bitterbow Sharpshooter definitely a lot better than the Initiate. Could take Pitiless Vizier for green-black, but I actually think Riverwinder is a really good late-game card, and a really good card in general, because you can cycle this for 1 blue mana, so anytime you don't have the mana to cast it, of course, you're always just cycling it for the early-game plays. But you draw this late game, a 5/5 Hexproof is really hard to deal with. So I do really like the Striped Riverwinder. Well, maybe there just aren't great black cards in these packs, because we're seeing a lot of the black that we saw the first time around wheeling. It just happens to be not very good cards. But Wasteland Scorpion's pretty solid. A Death Toucher that you can cycle if you don't have anything you need to kill. So I'll scoop up some black cards at the end here. It's possible we push into black-green. Ipnu Rivulet's actually nice in a slow controlling deck with a lot of deserts. You can start sacrificing your deserts to mill your opponent out. And, well, looks like we're not green-black here. It looks like we've opened up an incredibly powerful green-red mythic rare. You can get a little bit more use out of Samet if you're playing green, red, and white. You can also untap creatures, but that's entirely necessary, or entirely unnecessary for this card to still be incredibly powerful, even just in red-green. A 5-mana 3/4 double strike vigilance haste that you can flash in during your opponent's end step is absolutely brutal. If you're both getting aggressive at each other, it's possible your opponent just like taps out for a big attack on turn 4 or their turn 5, and you just flash this in, kill one of their attackers, and then you crack back with 6 damage because of the double strike. Absolutely brutal. It also gives your other creatures haste, so whatever creature you play the turn after this comes in with haste. This is a mythic rare, and it is mythic rare power level. We're going to slam down Samut. We're going to try to do what we can to end up in green-red, if we can. So definitely sticking to green as our primary overall, because green has been wide open, but now we'll start picking up some good red cards if we can get them. Pathmaker Initiate combos well with small creatures. I don't think we'll have a lot of those in green-red. We're going to be beefing out some big stuff, as you would tend to do. So I don't love Pathmaker here. We also just could have a lot of 2 mana 3/1s like Initiate's Companion. I think I'll just try this uncommon green card here. Kind of a slow card. 2 mana for a 4/4 that comes with 3 -1/-1 counters. So it comes in as a 2 mana 1/1 basically. But every time it attacks, you remove a counter from it. So the first time you attack, it attacks as a 2/2. Next time it attacks as a 3/3. Then it attacks as a 4/4. If you can keep the board clear, it should be pretty good. There's also Cartouche of Zeal, which is good if you're really aggressive. This can give haste and make something unblockable, but we already have 2 green cartouches, so if we pick up any trials, we've got a good amount of cartouches already, and I don't want to push into red so hard that I'm taking an equally powerful red card over an equally powerful green card. We'll definitely stick to green at the core of what we're doing. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of black cards going late, and we've seen good blue cards going late, like Riverwinder. So here, again, Thresher Lizard's just not that good, so I'm probably taking a black or a blue card over it. We have Bone Picker in black. If a creature dies, you can play this as a 1 mana 3/2 Flying Death Touch, which is ridiculous. Otherwise, a 4 mana 3/2 Flying Death Touch is still great. We've got more black cards than blue cards, so I'm kind of apt to pick the Bone Picker. What I like about the Vizier of Tumbling Sands is that it's kind of a ramp card. 3 mana for a 1/3 tap it, untap a permanent. Very similar to the Clever Conjurer in Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. If you've been playing any of that recently, you'll pretty much know what that 3 mana 1/3 here does. Yeah, I guess I'll take the black card there. Here I'm definitely taking Defiant Greatmaw. I think this card's just super good. 3 mana for, if you play it by itself, 3 mana for a 2/3. If you have another creature, you can just kill your other creature to make this a 3 mana 4/5. But this one, whenever you put 1 or more counters on it, you remove a -1/-1 counter from another creature you control. So if you have a lot of cards like the Exemplar of Strength, stuff like that, that put -1/-1 counters on your own cards, you can really combo with this and start making your whole field a little beefier. So I do like Great Maw a lot. There's a desert here that would be nice too, but definitely going to take Great Maw there. Now, some decent stuff in black. I do like Soul Stinger for like the green-black strategies. At this point, I think I want to just go green-black and splash in Samet. We already have a Ritualist to do that, and hopefully we can get a little bit more mana fixing, because black is definitely more open than red. Red, we're seeing, we saw cards early on for red, but they're all just mediocre, decent filler stuff. We haven't seen any great red cards coming around, but definitely like the green-black -1/-1 counter theme seems good here. Destined to Lead is also powerful. If you have the 6 mana, making something indestructible and just wrath your opponent's board, that seems like kind of a lot of mana. Maybe I'm undervaluing that, but I really like the synergy of Soul Stinger with the other -1/-1 counter stuff that we have in our color pairs. I do like another Soul Stinger, but now I actually am interested in cards like Awasha Cultivator, just being able to pull a mountain out of my deck to cast Samet. There's also Festering Mummy, which is cute. Putting a permanent -1/-1 counter onto something when it dies is kind of cool. Sixth Sense is neat too, drawing cards when your creatures hit stuff. A lot of neat cards here. I think I'm just going to go with Soul Stinger though. Get the green-black -1/-1 theme really going. Well, now I guess I'm taking a red card. Pitiless Vizier is only good if you have a lot of cycling. I don't think we will have a lot in black-green. We're just not really the color pair for it. Our mana curve's looking really good so far. A couple blue cards. We could take the Desert. For Samet, we could just take a red card here, like a Nefcrop Entangler. Bloodlust Insider's kind of cool, making your beefy creatures come in cheaper, but I think I'd rather just have a 2-drop. Or making your beefy creatures come in with haste. Magmaroth is good if you have a lot of non-creature spells, but otherwise it does really weaken itself real fast, getting a -1/-1 counter every upkeep. Kind of like Quarry Hauler here. It goes with what we're doing with -1/-1 counters a lot. You can just play this, remove -1/-1 counter from one of our cards. Seems pretty good. Definitely slamming a Desert of the Glorified here. I do like Ornery Kudu and Splendid Agony. Uh-oh. But I do love the deserts. I guess we'd already have one desert at least. We have double Cartouche Strength. We're doing okay on removal, so I don't need Splendid Agony too highly, but it is a good card. 2 -1/-1s wherever you want. We're doing good on 3-drops as well. We have 3 3-drop creatures already. I think I will take the desert there. Wow. Ominous Sphinx this late is fantastic. If this card had no other text but just being a 5 mana 4/4 flyer, it'd be good. And there's a lot of cycling. Being able to give creatures a little minus is incredibly good. I mean, I don't think we're playing blue here. I'm going to take the Dune Beetle there. Maybe we're supposed to take the 5-mana 4/4 flyer and try to splash it in off of like Oasis Ritualist, but at this point we only have one Ritualist and we're heading into the third pack, so I think it's really unlikely that we'll end up with enough Ritualists to heavily splash in multiple colors of cards. So I think my splash is kind of just committed to just being red for Semet. Shed Weakness is kind of a good combat trick for us because we have a lot of -1/-1 counters. Last pick, Vile Manifestation. Nobody likes the cycling deck this draft. If you haven't seen my first draft and you're interested in seeing a cycling deck, I would definitely check that out. It was pretty sick. Here we have really good stuff. Greater Sandworm as a great late game drop that can cycle early game. Oasis Ritualist for that mana fixing we want for Samut. Lethal Sting for a removal spell that also combos with the -1/-1 counter theme. And Nest of Scarabs, being able to create a bunch of 1/1s when we're putting -1/-1 counters on stuff, even our own stuff. I don't know if this is the right pick. I feel like we're supposed to take Lethal Sting first, probably, but I'm going to take Nest of Scarabs. This just seems like a really fun build around, and we have a lot of -1/-1 counters already. Definitely going to take more really highly now. Maybe we're even supposed to take Evolving Wilds for Semet, but Nest of Scarabs seems like the most fun card in the pack. That's in our colors, at least. The mythic rare horse is pretty adorable, but for green-black -1/-1, Nest of Scarab seems the funnest. Sifter Worm is pretty much my favorite card in the entire format, at least back in Hour of Devastation drafts in paper. 7 mana, 7/7 trample that scries 3, so you scry into your next big play, then you reveal it and gain a ton of life. Sifter Worm is just awesome. That being said, it's by far at its best in green-blue ramp. It's not super great here for just like green-blue -1/-1. Here, Lethal Sting I think is probably a lot better for our deck, but I think my love for Sifter Worm has no bounds to the point where I might slam it down here when I'm definitely not supposed to. I'm definitely not taking Labyrinth Guardian. I don't know what the auto suggestion is. You know what? I'm gonna be diligent there. I'm just gonna take the Lethal Sting. And the main thing, the way I'm justifying it in my head, as much as I love just doing big plays, big fun plays and stuff, this kind of fits into doing some more combo-y fun plays with like Nest of Scarabs. This is another card that can spit out a 1/1 insect with the nest. So I'll justify it in my head by saying that it's also a derpy combo-y pick, even though it's kind of just taking the good removal spell. Here we'll definitely take Shefet Monitor. This is perfect for our deck. Cycle it for 4, grab a mountain to be able to cast Samut and draw a card, or just play it as a 6 mana 6/5 as a nice late drop if we don't need that mana. Beautiful card. Very happy to take it. Shatterstorm. The cards that they planted in this set just for Historic. Kind of adorable. Maybe Shatterstorm will actually see some Historic sideboard play now that a bunch of Affinity cards are going to show up in Jumpstart Historic Horizons. Probably not, but maybe. Shatterstorm is just unplayable in every single format right now. Here I'm going to take Beneath the Sands, another card that can grab a mountain out of my deck. That seems pretty important, probably more than the filler 3-mana creature here. We do have 18 creatures, so we're doing good on the creature front. Take a Beneath the Sands, grab a mountain when we need it. When we don't, we can cycle Beneath the Sands to draw a card. Here we have Splendid Agony. This goes really well with the -1/-1 counter theme, goes great with Nest of Scarabs. I'm probably going to take this over Synchronized Strike, but I think that Synchronized Strike is an exceptionally powerful combat trick. Here I'm just kind of going with my synergistic wants and needs here. Synchronized Strike, probably the strongest card, or the stronger card overall, because this is such a huge blowout. If you and your opponent are getting aggressive and you're both just tapping out, attacking each other, and all of a sudden, all of the creatures you just attacked with untap and get +2/+2 and just eat their board, like it's potentially phenomenally strong. Final Reward's great. 5 mana for an instant, exile a creature. Don't mind if I do. Nice late game removal spell. Get in here. Very simple pick there. And I assume the rest of the picks are going to be simple because there's only like 2 cards in our color each pack, and Dissenter's Deliverance a lot more narrow than Horror of the Broken Lands. Ooh, Doomfall. Get in here. Is that better than Wasteland Scorpion? I do like Wasteland Scorpion. The Death Toucher when you need it, that cycles when you don't. But, I mean, Doomfall, force your opponent to exile a creature they control. They do get to choose what they're exiling, which is not great for you. But you can also look at their hand and exile their best card from it. So it's versatile. Doomfall is like if they only have one creature on the board, then you Doomfall the creature, and if they have like a bunch of tokens on board, then you dig in their hand for the best card. So the fact that it's flexible is what makes it good. Another Beneath the Sands, I'll probably play it too. Just more consistently cast Samet that way. Well, I could rare draft a Shatterstorm now, but I might actually play another Hooded Brawler, so I probably shouldn't. I'm going to assume I will never cast a Shatterstorm on Arena. Even in Historic Brawl that I like to play. That's the only constructed format I really play a lot. 2 mana 2/2 or Trespasser's Curse. So I'll just take the 2 mana 2/2. Trespasser's Curse is like a cute Pauper sideboard card against Storm decks that are pooping out a bunch of tokens, but I don't feel like it's going to be good in draft, so here we are. We have ended up in green-black -1/-1 with a couple Beneath the Sands and an Oasis Ritualist to help us splash in a mythic rare Samet Voice of Dissent. So it looks like a solid deck all around, and we've got a lot of cuts to make, so it should be interesting to see how we decide to build this. We've got a lot of non-creature stuff. We're definitely going to have to cut a lot of that. We have 22 creatures here. I think I'll start right off the bat by cutting like 4 creatures, and then we'll take a look at the non-creature stuff, and we'll just keep going from there. I kind of like Vile Manifestation better than Dune Beetle here, to be honest. I don't even need that much cycling in my deck for this to be just better than Dune Beetle. Even if this is always a 0/4, it's like a Dune Beetle that we can cycle. I think it's going to be pretty rare that the 1 power on Dune Beetle matters. I guess there are 3 ones in the format. But we have a couple cyclers, so Manifestation will often be a 1/4 for 2. And just the fact that we can cycle this if we top deck in the late game is so good. Yeah, I'd much prefer to have a Dune Beetle that I can cycle in the late game than just a Dune Beetle, period. So we'll cut those 2 and leave these as our 2-drops. I still like having 4 2-drops. A lot of white and red decks can get really aggressive, even the green decks. In this format. A lot of just the early game creatures that have abilities that exert when they attack, like the Hooded Brawler, can lead to some really aggressive curves. I guess the thing is, even having a bunch of 2-drops sometimes doesn't help you against those decks, because with those exert abilities, people can make it so blocking is really bad. Because you could just exert to make your creature like a 5/4 on attacks when your opponent has, their 2/2 out. So it is pretty hard to block in this format, even if you have the creatures on board to do so. I don't love Vizier here. We've got some cycling, but not enough for a card that's only good for cycling cards. So I'll take the Vizier out. So these we can cycle on 1 if we need to. This we can cycle on 4 if we need to. Cycle on 2. Okay, all our cycling has been lowered on the curve now. So we know what we have available to us on these early turns of the game. We could just draw a card for these amounts of mana if we need to. Still 19 creatures in here. Probably cut some more. Maybe cut the Quarry Hauler. I mean, I do like removing a -1/-1 counter from something, but there's also a 4/3, which isn't a great cost. Let's see. How much -1/-1 stuff do we actually have? Maybe we didn't get enough to actually go for Nest of Scarabs and Quarry Hauler type cards. So we have Lethal Sting, Exemplar of Strength, Defiant Great Maw, 2 Soul Stingers. We have 5 cards that actually put -1/-1 counters on stuff. That seems pretty low for all the synergies I tried to do in the end. I'm not sure we quite get there for Nest of Scarabs then. Anytime that we tap 3 for this card and then it doesn't do anything for several turns, it's going to be an incredibly hard sell. In the dream draws where you play a turn 3 Nest of Scarabs and a turn 4 Soul Stinger, sure, you're going to have a fantastic time, but I just don't think we can do that consistently. So I guess my My little zany roots of trying to do just fun, dumb combo-y stuff have kind of panned out poorly for me. I probably should have just taken the solid cards in these packs instead of the super synergistic ones that only work in the very dedicated strategies, because I think I'm going to end up just cutting them here. But that's okay. We've got plenty of just strong cards, period, even without the -1/-1 counter theme. So we'll take Shed Weakness out as well, because it's just for that. Quarry Hauler's kind of just for that. All right, now we need to cut 5 more cards. Still. $18 creatures, 10 non-creatures. I'm gonna cut some more non-creature stuff. I like Wander in Death because you cycle it early game, and then late game it's just a draw your 2 best creatures from your grave. Don't love Supernatural Stamina. Unless we have a lot of great enter the battlefield effects. Most of our enter the battlefield effects are negative. They're just putting -1/-1 counters on our own stuff. Yeah, we're not getting all that much out of a supernatural strength. We're just getting a 1-for-1 trade. We trade the strength for whatever creature our creature would have traded with. Not getting extra enter the battlefield value. Maybe cut a Doomfall here? Like, hopefully just Lethal Sting, Splendid Agony, Cartouche Strength are all good enough removal on the ground. Even Final Reward, just good enough removal to deal with the creatures on the ground. So Doomfall would really just be in here to manipulate our opponent's hand. To pull the best card out of it and exile it. I don't think that's something I'm really looking to do here. 18 creatures? I don't think we need a boatload of creatures here, so I could justify just cutting 3 creatures. Should play bigger, better creatures than our opponent, hopefully, eventually. A little bit of ramp here to play our 5 drops early. And we have a ton of 5 drops. 2 Sharpshooters, Semet. Double Horror of the Broken Lands, Shefet Monitor. Yeah, I kind of like just taking out some of the good curve-out creatures, because I don't think that's really what we're attempting to do here. So I'm thinking about just cutting the 2 Hooded Brawlers. And then maybe like a Watchers of the Dead. Then we have very little in terms of early game creatures, so we could get just absolutely slapped by the aggressive decks. Yeah, no, I think we still want like the 4 2-mana cards, 2 3-mana ones, because we do need creatures on board to be able to cast our removal. Cartouche of Strength and Lethal Sting both require us to have creatures on the board. Maybe we cut a Soul Stinger? The nuts plays with Soul Stinger are absolutely nuts, but it's not always going to work out like that. Like, when you play this as a 4-mana 2/3 that then trades off with one of their creatures and puts 2 -1/1 counters on another creature, that's always just awesome. But it's not always going to do that. Do I cut a Ritualist? I don't think I cut a Ritualist, because I've got big stuff here to ramp into. No, I almost definitely don't cut a Ritualist. Like, I'm mildly considering it because of, like, double Beneath the Sands, but that feels wrong. We definitely don't cut Bone Picker. It's just a super sweet Death Toucher that can even get rid of flyers, and we don't have a lot of defense against flying. We just have the Sharpshooters. I guess we have a boatload of targeted removal spells, which helps. Maybe we take a Splendid Agony, but Splendid Agony is really, really exceptional against the aggressive decks. Because the aggressive, like red-white or whatever decks, are going to have, you know, a 2-mana 3/1 and then a 2/2 on the board attacking us, and killing one of them and weakening the other one is always an incredible deal. And even if we can't do that, it's still going to be just a 1-for-1 instant speed removal spell, get rid of a 2/2. Maybe get rid of a Wander in Death. Maybe our late game's already good enough. We don't need a Wander in Death. Could also just cut like 1 Horror of the Broken Lands, and then I still have a good amount of late game creatures, plus Wander in Death to bring multiple creatures back late game. Sure. I'll cut a Horror of the Broken Lands here. This will be the deck I run with. I think I'm going to keep 17 lands. We have 2 ramp spells and an Oasis Ritualist. Actually, 4 ramp cards total. 2 Beneath the Sands, 1 Shefet Monitor, and 1 Oasis Ritualist. So even though we have a lot of big stuff, we can still definitely justify the 17 land over the 18 land deck here. And I'm probably only playing 2 mountains maximum. I'm definitely not playing 3, but I don't know if I'm going down to 1. I guess I have 3 ways to pull a mountain out of my deck. I have 2 Beneath the Sands, 1 Shefet Monitor. All those pull a mountain out of my deck. And then, of course, Ritualist just traps for red by itself. Yeah, I'll go down to a single mountain here, and then we'll see what we want between black and green. 10 black, 12 green. Just make it as even as we can, I guess. And let's go ahead and put on the fancy Hour of Devastation lands to represent our praising of the God Pharaoh here. Bolas himself. Oops. Alright, we've got our flavorful lands set up. We have a pretty good looking deck here. We need to put 2 more lands in here. We have 7 black sources, 7 green sources. Now we have 8 black sources, 8 green sources. Perfectly balanced. 2 of our black sources cycle. Yeah, I mean, we have a little more green than black, and our green can grab other colors, so there's like a little bit of justification for putting in 9 forests to 7 black sources. But the fact that 2 of our black sources cycle, I think, makes up for that. Yeah, this looks fine to me. I think this is the deck that we will roll with. I wish I were more clever so I could find names for the decks, because I have gotten some recommendations in the comments to name the decks, make it give it that extra little spice, but I'm just not that creative. I'm just vibing over here. I don't know. What would we even call this? The No Trial Cartouche deck? Yeah, I can't come up with anything. I'm sorry. My brain is mush. It's just fried from these overnights. I cannot wait for September, because I am really going to get back in the swing of things with the content creation in September. And hopefully my brain will work better when it's operating on more sleep, so that I can make a little less misplays as things go on. But I definitely really appreciate all of the recent support on the videos. It's been phenomenal, as always. It is absolutely insane. When I uploaded the draft challenge video, and then when I had time a few days later and just look at the views, and it's like almost 3,000 views now. It's absolutely nuts, and the vast majority of the comments are all super supportive. So I really appreciate all the support lately. It has been super cool, and wish that I had the time to bring you all as much content as possible. But I'm doing what I can here. It has just panned out poorly this month that this is my mega work month of just overnight 40-hour plus overtime weeks. All right. So I cycled that Vile Manifestation there rather than playing it, because we do really want to hit our later game lands here. Definitely the 4th land is incredibly important to get the Ritualist or Bone Picker or any of that stuff onto this board. So they've got a 2/4 out now. I think we just play a flyer here and start chipping away there. We can also Cartouche of Strength with our flyer to go ahead and get that out of the way, so all our creatures can be attacking in the future. And I don't see a need to play an Oasis Ritualist right now, because we don't have anything for more than 4 mana, so we don't really need its ability. Lord of the Accursed. Well, now I kind of want to kill that, because that is making the rest of their field bigger. Their 2/4 is now a 3/5. This can also give stuff Menace. If they spend a bunch of mana, well, now we draw Samet. If I grab a red source here, do I grab a red source off of Beneath the Sands, or do I cast an Oasis Ritualist? I definitely don't just Cartouche Strength now, because I'm only taking like 5 damage if I don't block anything that they play. Kind of want a Ritualist here, but it's possible they remove it. I think if they have removal, they'll probably kill Bone Picker. Yeah, I kind of want to play Ritualist over the Beneath the Sands here, because that also impacts the board, gives us another blocker, and disincentivizes some attacks from them. Like, now I can attack in with Bone Picker, and they won't just smack me with both creatures, because the 2/3 isn't going to accomplish anything attacking in. It'll just bounce off the 2/4. So being able to get the mana that we need for Samet, as well as impact the board with another blocker here, seems good to me. They don't attack at all. I guess even attacking with the 3/5, we can just bounce off it. That's true. The Ritualist actually blocks super well there. So we do have Samet here, but Samet is an instant. Samet has Flash, so we can surprise block with it, so we'll go for that. It's possible they don't even attack it, it doesn't matter, but there's no reason not to cast Samet in the end step here. Also makes it less likely that Samet dies to sorcery speed removal. Gives him less opportunities to kill her. And there she is. So, I mean, Trespasser's Curse has seemed pretty decent here for our opponent. So, this card's probably undervalued. I mean, I didn't even pick it till like last pick. So, maybe just drafting a pile of Trespasser's Curses could work out. I don't know. But it has single-handedly been like a deal 4, gain 4 or something at this point. I don't think we're going to attack with Samet. I guess we could play Cartouche of Strength. Is that going to clear the board enough to attack? I don't think so. Can only play 1 card this turn. We could just kind of sit on our butts if we want. I feel like clearing out the Lord seems good to me. Giving Samet +1/+1 is going to be more powerful in terms of our damage output than giving Ritualist +1/+1, but this way we're playing around like an instant speed removal spell. Now they don't kill Samet if they want to save the Lord, they just kill our Ritualist, which is not as bad. Alright, so that works. This has double strike, so we get to attack in. They have 7 toughness, 5 power. No, we don't get to attack in. Again, it's super possible that just slamming down Cartouche on Samet's the better play, but I want to play it really safe here because they only have 2 cards left in hand. We've got another like massive creature coming out late game, so I think we have the late game unlock here. If we can just protect our stuff as much as possible. We don't need a red source, our 1 red card's already on the board. So I did exert the Ritualist to get another mana source so we can get a permanent mana source. Alright, well this is some kind of trick to kill Samet. I mean, here we're first strike killing the Bone Slide. We'll see what happens here. Alright, take 2 then. Oh, you know what it is? It's a board wipe. I forgot to mention it this time. I did mention it last time. Very important to always remember that whatever colors your opponent's playing, always have in the back of your mind that they could have a board wipe. This is one of those limited formats where it is actually important to play around board wipes a little bit, because white has Wrath of God, Hour of Devastation, at least. Black has Rags to Riches, Bontu's Last Reckoning. Red has Hour of Devastation, Sweltering Suns, Anger of the Gods. There are just a million Wrath effects in this format, so you always have to be aware that that could happen. And yeah, that definitely explains the way they attacked there. So Wayward Servant. Whenever they play another zombie, they drain us for a life. Well, they've just done so much life drain here, and they get to play zombie, drain another life, play another one next turn. If they double block Bitterbow Sharpshooters, they will kill it. And I only kill one of their cards. I guess I play Chef at Monitor. It's a 6/5, so if I play that, then I get to attack with it next turn, and whatever they block with, they have to double block, and I kill two of the blockers when I attack with that. So we play that, we just start slamming him with the Monitor. Oh, I forgot that's going to be a 4/4 because of the Lord of the Accursed. I can actually do a bit of a combo here. I can play Soul Stinger. Then I can play Exemplar of Strength and put all the -1/-1 counters on Soul Stinger to use Soul Stinger as a removal spell to clear out the Lord. So they're down to just a 2/2 and a 5/5 here. Or I'm sorry, a 2/2 and a 3/3 here. I'm going really low on life, though, and I'm making it so my 1 life gain card doesn't gain me life. I guess I could kill Bone Slasher as well. I feel like it's better to kill the Lord. Okay, so this does make the board weak enough they have to double block to kill the Monitor. We have a 4/4 to block with here, so I think we can attack both, because this has Vigilance. They can double block to kill Sharpshooters, but then I get to kill Wayward Servant. So if they play any more zombies, they won't be gaining life and draining me for a life. Alright. Yeah, I like sending both in there because a double block where I get to kill Wayward Serpent's actually good for me. It stops them from draining more life, and it would kill their 1 zombie on board, so the Bone Slasher can't block anymore. So that is why I wanted to do that. Do I even want to cast this Scorpion? Now they actually have good double blocks. They can block 3/3 and 2/2 onto the 4/4, or 3/3 and 2/2 onto the 5/5. I've got to hold back blockers here, or I'm going to die. This has Afflict as well. It drains me for life even if I block it. Trespasser's Curse probably going to kill me here, but a lot of the work was done by Wayward Servant as well. Just the life drain in general is brutalizing me. Yeah, holding up blocker seems really important here. Even if I just attack with Monitor, they can just not block and then attack all 3. And what can I do? I block 2 things. I block there, take 2. I guess I have good blocks if I just attack with Monitor. I don't even... Ooh, okay, I'm so happy to see that. Okay. That means I've got a shot of just getting in there. The fact that this Scorpion's going to drain me a life when I play it, makes it so I feel like it's really close between if I should play it or cycle it. But I guess it attacks in well. I really don't like going down to 4 here when they have a life drainer on the board. I think I'm going to do it. It's another creature on board, another attacker and blocker. It's probably more value than the 1 life drain. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's way more value if they draw into Trial of Ambition. That was a very, very lucky draw for us to see our opponent draw into, because that just justified the playing the Scorpions so hard. Now we get to keep the 4/4s. All right, they're dead to 1 more attack if I don't play the Soul Stinger. So I think I just hold it off. Right? Because then I get to attack again next turn and they have to chump block. But if I play this now, I can attack next turn and they'll go to 1. Actually, that's not true. I'm kind of a I'm kind of an idiot myself. This adds 2 damage because it's attacking for 2. Either way, we'll draw final reward. Play poorly, get rewarded? No? Yes, okay. They did have a big pump spell to buff the whole field, but luckily we've whittled down the field over time with just bigger creatures than our opponent, which was kind of the deck plan. I was really worried that it wouldn't pan out for us because of all of the life drain they were doing. We were really close to just getting drained completely out of the game, but we do get lucky in the end sometimes, and 1-0 to start off this draft. All right. Well, there's Samet again, and we do have Chefet Monitor to grab the red source for it. So I guess I'll keep. I mean, we play a 0-4 turn too, so we got a little bit of time to block some stuff. It's possible we even end up cycling this if we don't hit a land, because we do really need to hit the 4th land. So cycling this to help do that could be okay. If I draw Lethal Sting, now I really am hesitant to cycle it, because now we have 2 removal spells we can't play unless we have a creature on the board, so it's important to have a creature on the board. It's also important to hit the 4th land, so I mean, this is like the deciding turn, because it's 2 mana to cycle it or 2 mana to play it, so this is like the time to play it if I want to, or cycle it if I want to. I see green-white. I see white mana from our opponent. White can get really aggressive in this format. Probably pretty important to get a blocker here. And a 0-4 should block pretty well against any 2 mana cards they have. The most a 2 mana card should be is like a 3-1. And we have access to Lethal Sting now if they play something bigger. Unfortunately, it may not pan out well for us. We've not hit the lands yet, and we really, really need the 4th land, as I've been saying. Definitely if our opponent doesn't play a creature this turn, then it would have panned out a lot better to cycle the Vile Manifestation, but I am always terrified when I see white mana in the format. Can be pretty aggressive. Oh, I guess they do have a 3-drop creature. That makes me feel less bad. I could kill it right now before they untap, but it's also only 3 toughness. So I can just block it, and then if they try to use a combat trick to kill my manifestation, I can respond to their combat trick by killing it if need be. So like it's better to do that. I might get a 2-for-1 by doing that if they try to buff it here. I guess if they have a damage spell, I can also get a 2-for-1, but this cycles, so it's not a 2-for-1, but I do get to keep the Vile Manifestation. So a 1-for-1 trade here. I trade my Splendid Agony for their Pouncing Cheetah, and they basically just cycle Deem Worthy just to draw the card, which is not the end of the world for them, so it's not like I really got them there. Luckily here we do hit the 4th mana for the Chefet Monitor's cycling ability, which is perfect for us. We grab that mountain for Samut. And we draw land for turn. Or I guess for next turn. We did play the forest here. They're playing red, they could have haste. Is it better to just hold back over getting 1 damage in? There's not like a boatload of haste, I'll just get a damage in. There's like on Crop Crasher, the 3 mana 3/2 haste. Or there's Glorybringer at rare, probably the best rare in the set, 5 mana 4/4 haste. No! I shouldn't have said anything, they have the 3 mana 3/2 haste. They really got me there. So I have 6 mana here. I can Cartouche Strength and Lethal Sting, but I can also just flash in a Samet, which probably pans out pretty well. Like, we don't know if they're going to have any tricks, but if they don't have any tricks, Samet just eats up that on-crop crasher, and we're super happy. I'm going to try to do that. We could get blown out here. This, like, the super 100% safe play, that's just a lot slower, would just be to Cartouche Strength and get the Crasher off the board for now. And then maybe eventually they use like removal in the manifestation. And by getting removal out of the way, it makes it so Samet's more likely to stick around longer. That's an alternative line we could do and just play really safe and slow here. But I don't know, I like going for the spicy play here. Because if they don't have a response to this, it is phenomenally good. All right. So far, it looks like we got a free kill from Samet. Oh yeah, That's beautiful. And Samet just attacks with double strike vigilance now. We can even cartouche onto Samet to get more damage in. Yeah, trample seems pretty good here. Probably just want to play sharpshooters though. None of these creatures are important enough to need to really need to kill here. Pouncing Cheetah. Alright, they gonna block Vile Manifestation here? I hope they do. No, they're not. Alright, well, if they did, I could cycle Desert and get them. I might just cycle it anyway. I probably want to draw a card here, and I haven't played a land for turn, so I can just draw a card off Desert, play Swamp, play Sharpshooters, because Sharpshooters is my plan right now. Yeah. If Sharpshooters is the plan for the turn, might as well cycle right now, get one more damage in. And here is the Sharpshooters. 4/4 Vigilant Reach. Super nice card. Oh yeah, Samet gives haste. Alright, big punt there. Could have got in for extra damage just playing that pre-combat. I totally forgot the mountain of text on Samet. That's just insane. Also gives the whole field haste. Samet is not entirely an army to can. She's not self-contained. She gives haste to everybody else. I guess army in a can is the wrong analogy. A one-man army. There we go, the opposite of it. Second Deemworthy. This card is sweet. I love Deemworthy. If your opponent has small creatures out, you get to cycle it, so you get to kill something and draw a card, and if they have big creatures, whatever, spend the full 5 and kill one. Deemworthy, super sick. Alright, so our opponent's down to 11. We have a Cartouche Strength that's pretty excellent here. They only have one card in hand and some small creatures on board. Things are looking up for us. What do we want to do here? I don't have enough mana to play anything except Sharpshooters if I just want to play Sharpshooters this turn. I have no instant speed tricks, so if I attack with Bitterbow Sharpshooters, what do they do to kill it? They block with a 3/2 and a 1/3, and I can only kill one of those two cards. Definitely not a big fan of our attacks here if I don't use a removal spell, but at the same time, if I do use a removal spell, if I use Cartouche Strength, I can't attack in anyway. I guess I could Lethal Sting and put a -1/-1 on Manifestation, that I'm attacking him with a 4/4 against 3 power. That seems pretty good. But I also have enough mana to play both removal spells next turn, so I kind of like getting all of my power out on the board this turn, and then next turn I clear out 2 creatures to just send in. But if I didn't want to play Sharpshooters there, I definitely think Lethal Sting is the better play than Cartouche of Strength, because Lethal Sting makes sure that my Sharpshooters is still a 4/4 against a 2/1 and a 1/3. Alright, so now we can just play two removal spells and go absolutely ham. Because now we just Lethal Sting the biggest creature, make the Manifestation a little smaller, and then we Cartouche Strength the next biggest creature. I guess we could still hold the Cartouche Strength to be safe against a top-decked bomb. But they're at 11 life, so we kill them in like 3 turns maximum by doing this. So they need to draw a bomb really quick. And we also have a decent amount of removal in our deck. We have another Cartouche Strength. I guess we've already drawn Agony and Lethal Sting. Ooh, Open Fire to win the fight there. Or to trade in the fight there. I guess I could just choose not to fight then. If I fight, I trade Open Fire and Pouncing Cheetah for Bitterbow Sharpshooters, but if I don't fight, then they've used Open Fire for nothing. So I think I don't fight. And then I just attack with Sharpshooters, because it's a 2-for-1 trade regardless, right? No. If I attack with the other Sharpshooters here, then they can block with a 3/2 and a 1/3 if I don't kill this. So it's a 1-for-1 trade with this Sharpshooters, or a 1-for-1 trade with this one? I guess I'd rather 1-for-1 trade with the 4/4 instead of the 5/5, so I decline here and then I attack with the other one. I guess? Yeah, I mean, I guess this way I keep a 5/5 Vigilance Trample. Yeah, Trample's pretty important. This way I keep a 5/5 Trample instead of a 4/4 with no Trample. That seems pretty good. Sorry, I've been kind of eating the mic lately, so probably peaking the audio a lot. I'm sorry about that. Just leaning forward a lot. The posture is bad. Am I going to attack with the Wasteland Scorpion if I play it? Yeah. But at the same time, they are playing white and red. That's 2 Wrath colors. I could also just play around a Wrath here and start attacking with Vile Manifestation instead, making it a 2/3 off of the Scorpion. We'll just do that. Play a little bit safely around Wraths. But by playing around Wraths safely, I'm not playing around Surprise Bomb creature like a Glorybringer. But I guess Glorybringer can just get blocked by a 5/5. We could actually just beat a Glorybringer here, which is pretty crazy, because it's only a 4/4 flyer. Well, a 2/4 is a big deal. Now they have 5 power on the board, but they'd have to block with everything to kill Sharpshooters, in which case I get to kill the 2/4 and the 2/1. 2-for-1 trade there, they're left with just a 1/3. How do they kill Vile Manifestation here? It's a 1/3, so they can kill it by blocking with a 2/4 and a 1/3, but then they don't block Sharpshooters. Sharpshooters has trample, so I think I attack all. Because their only way to kill Manifestation is to double block here, which means the only blocker they can do there would be trampling over for 4 damage plus 2 damage from Ritualist. Yeah, attack all. The only way to kill Ritualist is if they double block with a 2/4 and a 2/1, in which case they can only block Sharpshooters with the 1/3. And I still get to trade the Ritualist into one of their creatures at least, if they do that. Alright, so here we're getting in for 1, 2, 3, 4 damage if I cycle Scorpion. So I'll do that. Beneath the Sand, cycle that, hit for 3 from the Manifestation. They go down to 1 life here from the Trample. And now Manifestation is just straight up a 3/3. Well, one of the reasons for holding the Scorpion was like playing around Wraths. But then I realized I've just cycled it for lands, which is definitely not playing around Wraths, because now I'm just down to lands. But at this point, so is our opponent. Shefet Monitor. Well, that's not good. Hope Tender is the draw. If I just have one more creature than my opponent, I win on the spot. What happens if I attack all here? They block. I think I attack all here and they lose a creature, right? Because they die if any creature other than Sharpshooters, or if any creature other than Monitor blocks Sharpshooters, they die. And if any creature goes unblocked, they die. So this way, these trade. This can't trade with anything. This can't trade with anything. Archer has to chump block. So they lose 2 creatures and I lose 1 creature here. And the name of the game is just to have 1 more creature than them at this point. So this way, we have 1 more creature than them on board, and we cast Hope Tender. Now we have 2 more creatures than them on board. So I need something real good here. Okay. I don't think I played that optimally near the end, to be fair. I bounced back and forth a lot between playing it safe and playing it aggressively, which was a little weird. A little scatterbrained there at the end. I am kind of hopped up on caffeine right now because I got up early so that I could record this stuff before work. It's going to be a weird month, everybody, but we're going to get through it. Don't worry about it. We're 2-0. We're still going to do fine. At least a 2-3 out of this draft. All right. This is a pretty great hand. I like getting that Exemplar of Strength out here turn 2. But we can also Beneath the Sands here on turn 3. And then we get to play like 5 drops. You're like, ooh, Defiant Great Maw. Whenever one or more counters are put on it, remove a counter from another one. So we play this, put 2 counters on it. That removes a counter from Exemplar. Exemplar attacks and removes a counter. Exemplar is just immediately attacking as a 3/3. Beautiful combo. We're just really bashing in with these green creatures. Playing against another white-black deck. White-black, a lot of zombie tribal that we've seen. Relatively aggressive stuff. Some life drain, some flyers. We'll see what they have here. Nothing yet on turn 3. Could be removal spell. And it is. Desert's Hold. Going to shut off Exemplar of Strength from attacking anymore. We can still use it to cast a Cartouche of Strength, which seems good. So in the future, if they ever have something with with a small body, and we're worried about them having instant speed removal, we could cartouche on Exemplar, I guess. For now, we're going to stay aggressive. Drop this Bone Picker down. I think we'll probably actually cycle the Beneath the Sands here, because we don't even need it for the red mana as long as our Oasis Ritualist is alive. As long as that's not in our graveyard. So our opponent has 4 mana now, and here's a Dauntless Aven, a 2/1 flyer that can block the Bone Picker. I think I would like to just cartouche a Strength here. Would I rather make my flyer better or my ground creature? Probably my flyer, because Death Touch Trample is really good. They only have 1 white mana up. That should not be a response here, but I do not remember this format particularly well. This is my 4th draft of the format total, my 2nd since it's returned. So it's basically my 2nd draft of the format. It's been forever. But yeah, I don't think there's like a 1 white mana combat trick, and we're going to cycle Beneath the Sands here rather than use it again, because we have Ritualist if we draw Semet. Compulsory Rest. Can't attack or block. I can sack it to gain a couple life. Alright, another removal spell. So just white-black removal so far, really. And there's a 2/4. Well, that'll block a 2/3 all day long. They've got things under control for now. That is everything we got for now. Luckily, these Beneath Sands being able to cycle is so helpful for us here, because they would have been incredibly dead draws if they did not have that cycling ability. Unfortunately, we are in top deck mode here now. Oh, Catcher's Monument, so whenever they cast a creature, they get a 1/1 out now, and their white creatures cost less, but it looks like no creatures in hand for them. Wasteland Scorpion's kind of okay here. I mean, if they play another creature, it's going to be pretty bad, but I feel like if they had another creature to play, they would have played it, unless it's like 6 or 7 mana. If it was 6 or 7 mana, I could see them playing the Monument first because they want to get more creatures out. This is a hard choice between casting or cycling Scorpion. I feel like we're supposed to just cast it here, because ideally they don't play a creature next turn, and then we trade our Death Toucher into Those Who Serve, which clears the board for our other creatures to get through. I guess they are high toughness, so we can just attack with them anyway. We get 2 damage in each turn at least. Is this a combat trick? They do definitely have enough mana for a combat trick now. But yeah, the massive deliberation on what they wanted to block means I'm pretty sure it's a combat trick here. Oh, well, Defiant Greatmaw works really well against Splendid Agony. Wait, I think. Whenever you put 1 or more -1/-1 counters on it. What? That's rude. Come on, Wizards. I wish that worked when anybody did it, because then I could just remove the 1 from the Ritualist in response. That would be really cool. Okay, well now if I play Wasteland Scorpion, I just trade with Those Who Serve, and then I start getting in with a 1/1. I generally don't know if it's better to just 1-for-1 here, or just hope off the top. I guess we're only drawing 1 card off of this. It's not like we're drawing 2 cards, so a 1-for-1's about as good as we're probably going to get. What? I mean, they definitely just have a better creature to play then. Just a bigger creature on the ground. What is the 1 card in hand here? Because now we attack for 3, they attack for 2, we attack for 3. We don't have any enchantment removal, I'm pretty sure, so we'll just sack this to gain 2 life from the Compulsory Rest. There's a Lethal Sting. Yeah, I mean, I guess now if they do have another creature, we'll sting it. Alright, just getting in there, getting aggro. I guess they just don't want to block a Death Toucher with the 2/4. I don't want to Lethal Sting a 2/4, but I get in for 3 damage if I do, so they're dead in 3 turns. The problem with that plan is any creature they draw also spits out a 1/1. So then they have, like, I guess that's not great blocks. A 1/1 just dies to these. So we could just Lethal Sting here. And then if they play, like, a really good creature, we can still attack with the Death Toucher. Because, like, the 1/1 can't kill it by itself. They'll have to attack with whatever better creature they draw. Yeah, I mean, I think I Lethal Sting. Get in for 3 they're on a 3-turn clock to draw something. I don't love the idea of not having the removal as backup, but putting them on a clock here does seem good to me. Oh, they just have a Splendid Agony to kill the Death Toucher. Alright, top deck war. I'm at 21, they're at 8, but I think their board's actually a little better. I think I'd rather have an Oketcher's Monument out than a 1-3. Alright, Hope Tender is a good draw. It's another creature to bash in with. Oh, wow. I feel really bad for our opponent. They seem to be getting really unlucky here. Unless this is another instant speed removal. Alright. Now I'm starting to consider that Oketcher's Monument's just not that good in their deck. I was going to say, I feel like they're getting really unlucky not drawing any creatures here. But they've drawn a lot of relevant cards. Their deck is just like 4 removal spells already. They're definitely getting pretty unlucky. But I think part of it is just having a mountain of removal spells in the deck with Oketcher's Monument. I suppose we'll never know what was in their deck. They could have drawn every removal spell they had and like none of the creatures. But wow, that was brutal. The fact that they got the Oketcher's Monument, but they didn't cast a single creature after casting Oketcher's Monument, that's gotta feel abysmal. So that was definitely very unlucky overall for our opponent. So 3 wins now, so 3-3 no matter what. Pretty great hand, all of our colors. We have Hope Tender turn 2 to get on the board, a Cartouche Strength to clear something out if we need to. I'm going to keep this. I might hold on to the Desert here. I do like getting to 5-6 mana in this deck, so I probably play out the Desert. I don't know, it's not like I'm curving out perfectly with this hand, so I can play the Desert later if I don't draw any more lands, and if I do draw more lands, I'm going to be very happy to have held on to this Desert. Because this hand, if all I draw from this point on is lands, this hand is not doing much at all. It's just a 2-2, really. So, I like being able to cycle this if need be. Alright, now we're playing turn 3 Cartouche, turn 4 Soul Stinger. That seems great. Yeah, let's just keep them off it. Get that off the board. Keep them off their plays. For now. 3-3 cannot block unless they have another zombie, so we get to keep getting in here. We also get to play a 2-3 that'll trade into that if need be. And we have drawn into the 5th land, so we have basically all the mana we need. I guess I could play this as a 4-5 if I want, make the Hope Tender a 1-1. That's a hard choice. I wasn't thinking about how difficult this deck would be to run with all these -1/-1 counter shenanigans. I guess if they play another zombie, then Hope Tender just trades into the Bone Slasher. But also if they play another zombie, they can double block a Soul Stinger pretty easily. Yeah, let's just make the Soul Stinger a 2-3. Could trade here, but I think I'd rather attack in. If they don't play any creatures, we get in for just as much damage no matter where we throw the counters. Oh lord, Baleful Ammit. That's very bad. 4-3 Lifelink. I guess it trades for either of these, which is a good deal for us. Defiant Great Mob puts 2 -1/-1 counters on something, so I guess we could put 2 counters onto the Great Maw, use its ability to remove a counter from Soul Stinger, then Soul Stinger's a 3-4. We can attack with a 3-4 and a 3-3, and if the 3-4 dies, we get to put a -1/-1 counter into Bone Slasher. If we go for that attack, though, we don't have a good block for the Baleful Ammit, and I don't like them just chipping at us with 4 lifelinking power. So what do I do here? I feel like I still play the Great Maw, but I probably only attack with like 1 creature here. I guess I could put all the counters on Soul Stinger if I want, so I get to put 4 -1/-1 counters on something when it dies. But it's also already trading for the Amit. I guess a 4/5 blocker is good here. Yeah, a 4/5 blocker is good enough. Let's just shut off the Soul Stinger, attack with Hope Tender. And then Soul Stinger can just block and nuke something when it dies. If we take the trade with Hope Tender, that's fine. Hope Tender's just a 3/3. It's not doing anything else for us with its ability at this point in the game. Alright, we take the trade. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Supernatural stamina. Well, at least they have to put another -1/-1 counter on something, so this is a little bit better than a 1-for-1 trade. Just like moderately better. I guess they get 6 life, though. No, this is a trade in their favor because of the fact that Amit has lifelink. If it didn't have lifelink, we'd be pretty happy to just be shoving another -1/-1 counter on one of their cards. But the lifelink is kind of brutal. Alright, we're gonna cycle this desert in the end step coming up. See what we draw. Lord of Extinction. Very cool card. This is one of the cards that they threw into Amonkhet Remastered that was not in the initial format that I'm actually really excited for. That card is fun. That card is fun. That being said, we're gonna need to draw targeted removal. Oh, we're mega dead. I guess if we Wander in Death, it goes back to being a 4/4 and we can block it for now. But actually, you know what we can do? We can just kill it right now with Exemplar of Strength. I have to Wander in Death first, though. I have to Wander in Death to remove 1 card from a graveyard. Because if I Exemplar of Strength now, Soul Stinger dies, and then there's 6 cards in grave, and I put 5 -1/-1 counters on that. Right? Wait, no, I'm putting 3 counters on this. Yeah, no, I don't have to Wander in Death before I do this. Yeah, I'm putting 3 counters on Soul Stinger, so it's going to be -7, -7. Yeah, no, we're fine. -7, -7 is bigger than 6/6. Okay. That was a sick combo. That's pretty cool. We definitely Wander in Death here, I believe. I still want to hold the 4/5 for the 4/3 lifelinker. I don't want to trade into it. So Wander in Death, pick up our best 2 creatures here, so we have plays next turn. Oh yeah, we only have 2 creatures. Derp. There we go. And pass turn. We'll start attacking with the non-4/5s. Uh-oh. Lethal Sting. Kill Great Maw, get a -1/-1 on Bone Slasher. Yep. They were looking at both cards a lot, which is what made me think of that. I have a Soul Stinger coming up, which isn't... which I can play that as a 4/5, and then I have a 4/5 to block Baleful Amit. An Exemplar can start gaining life off attacks. Yeah, I don't think I take the trade here. I think I keep trying to just have a bigger creature than the Amit. But it is starting to cost me. Because I could have traded for this Amit like a long time ago, I think, at this point. But I do like the combo of the Soul Stinger with Exemplar, because Exemplar just removes the counters from itself anyway. We get in for 1 less damage this turn, but now we have a 4/5 to block the 4/3. I guess what I should have been considering this whole time, that would have led to me just trading there, is that they're just gonna... If the end game here is that they're gonna block our 4/4 with the 4/3, it's already gonna trade anyway. Uh-oh. Well, yeah, now we're gonna trade. It's gonna be late. Yeah, it would have panned out better in the long run to just trade earlier. Or would it? Or would it? Have we played the mega long game? Cartouche, ho! That was very lucky. I'm not sure that that justifies my previous actions, but I will take it. I mean, in hindsight, it totally does, but... It might have been better to just get that lifelinker off the board a century ago. Alright, we're in a top deck board where I have a removal spell and a 5/5 out. So, I am very happy with the current status of this game, but that can change very quickly. All they need is to draw 1 targeted removal spell, and they're under no more pressure. Our removal spell also works exceptionally well with Exemplar, because it throws a -1/-1 counter onto it that just immediately gets removed by its effect. Alright, 1 more swing after this, and we will be 4-0. That'll do it. There's the concession. So we might not be the most -1/-1 counter synergistic deck, but we still have fun combos now and then with the Soul Stinger. Soul Stinger taking out that Lord of Extinction, being kind of the play of the game there. Soul Stinger doing great stuff for us. So we made it 4-0. At this point, I'm happy regardless. I say that, but if I lose 3 games in a row, that's always going to feel bad. But I'm happy with the prize payout at this point, always. Super nice draft here. So we got some time as we're waiting between rounds, grabbing some drinks and stuff. All right. What am I scared to play against in this format? Honestly, I don't know the format well enough to really know all the archetypes incredibly well. Back in paper, several years ago, when I used to draft this, my absolute favorite archetype was green-blue ramp. And kind of because of that, the archetype I was always the most scared to play against would be red-white or red-black. Back in triple Amonkhet drafts, before they added Hour of Devastation to the format, just the red aggressive cards were really good, followed by the white ones were pretty good. The mixture of the two formats, you can still do the pretty aggressive stuff, but you can do the pretty slower stuff too. I think it's a pretty decent in-between. So, I think with this deck, I think we have a decent matchup against pretty much anything. Because we have targeted removal that can kill creatures no matter how big they are, that stuff is great against the ramp decks. And we have nice just early game removal like Splendid Agony against the more aggressive decks. So I do enjoy our matchups against most anything here. I kind of want to just cycle Vile Manifestation. I feel like I'm going to be Splendid Agonying to kill this Festering Mummy, because if I can do that when I don't have a creature on board, I just nullify the fact that it throws a -1/-1 counter onto something. I can also do that when I have like a Great Maw out, where I get a little bit of value from doing that. There's a Binding Mummy now. Yeah, I kind of like cycling Manifestation, and then now I can just Splendid Agony to kill the Festering Mummy and weaken the Binding Mummy. Is that better than playing a 2/3? I feel like it's probably better than playing a 2/3 because of the fact that the 2/3 is going to turn into a 1/2 if I kill the Festering Mummy at a later time. Oh lord. Oh, they've really got the zombie deck here. The aggro zombie deck with the tapper, the life drainer. Maybe I just kill the life drainer at this point. Maybe I don't even kill the mummy. Yeah, I mean, this card did so much work last time, but the Binding Mummy's going to do a lot of work too, tapping stuff down. I'm not sure what I Splendid Agony here. Soul Stinger into Great Maw is going to be beautiful. I guess that still makes it a 0/1, so it doesn't die. We'll need another -1/-1 counter to do that. Which, actually, you know what? I think I might be able to get our opponent to play into our plans here. If I play this Soul Stinger and they can't tap my stuff down, if I can get them to throw a -1/-1 counter on this, that's pretty beautiful, all things considered. Because then when we play Great Maw, we can just pop the Soul Stinger to be able to use it to kill Wayward Servant, because they're never going to put the Wayward Servant into harm's way intentionally. So they're just going to keep attacking with like these Festering Mummies. No, they're too smart. They're too big brain for my play. So the idea there was that they would just like chip at me with the Festering Mummies anyway, because they can like whittle down the Soul Stinger. But I guess they realized like if they just whittle it down enough, it's just going to kill the Servant anyway. All right, well, in that case, what do we do here? We're going to be able to cast a Sheffet Monitor next turn. I can cast a Great Maw even if I cycle something, so I think I cycle the land guaranteed. Because even if we draw like Samut, we don't need another Black Source. There's nothing in the deck we're going to need this desert for. Do we cycle this desert or play a 2/3? And if I do play the 2/3, do I play it as a 2/3? Or do I play it as a 4/5, making Soul Stinger a 0/1? That is the question. Soulstinger's already got enough counters on it to kill a Wayward Servant if it dies. They only have two -1/-1 counters, so my 4/5 just turns into like a 2/3 if I play it as a 4/5, and I have a Shefet Monitor coming up. I don't really think I like attacking here, but I do like just throwing the counters onto Soulstinger. If I do attack, I'm pretty much guaranteed to get 2 damage in, but then it's more likely they can crack back. Here they have to like clear my whole board if they want to attack me, because if they don't clear my whole board, then attacking guarantees the Wayward Servant dies, even if they don't attack with the Wayward Servant because I have Soulstinger out and untapped. Alright, there's a Horror. Well, now I'm a little interested in this Desert. We do need the 6th land for the Shefet Monitor. So I could play the Horror and play the Desert out tapped. But I think we definitely attack with Great Maw, because we're going to play another creature that's more than big enough to block anything they have. They could chump block with a Festering Mummy and kill Soulstinger, but if they kill Soulstinger, it trades the Servant anyway, so I don't think they make that trade. They don't, they just take 4. We definitely play a 4/4. The question here is whether or not we play the Desert. If I don't play the Desert... rough. If I don't play the Desert, then if I don't hit a land next turn, I can still cycle Desert and cycle Beneath the Sand, so I'm still doing something. But it's probably a lot better to just guaranteed get a 6/5 out. The biggest reason to just hold on to it is it's a lot better if I just flood out from this point on in the game. Eternal of Harsh Truths. It doesn't do much, because I can still just block that, kill Wayward Servant. At some point, they're going to have to accept the fact that Soulstinger is going to kill Servant, and then they will probably have decent crackbacks. But for now, we're not in that moment. I think they have decent blocks on Great Maw at this point, but I still have more creatures to play that are bigger, so I still just keep sending in. They don't have great blocks, but they have enough. They could block with everything and kill it, I guess. Yeah, that's not decent blocks. Never mind. That just is blocks. Evolving Wilds. Are they on 4 color, or are they just on the 3 color here? Nope, just the blue splash. Fair enough. Disposal Mummy. Exile something from my grave. Actually kind of sucks. Oh, they exile the Cycler. I was going to say that actually does matter in this matchup, because we do have Wander in Death to return something from our grave. Ooh, make this a 7/6 Trampler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have enough power to kill it. But it's going to be a fantastic attack either way, and that leaves the board a little more clear for Great Maw to do good work. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. They only have 5 power after this turn, so maybe I just hold off while it's damaged. Because if I attack in now, they could trade into it. But it would be like a 3-for-1 trade, so it's going to be a good deal regardless. But if I just attack with it next turn, they can't trade. So I guess I'll just attack with it next turn. They can trade with Great Maw if they like 2-for-1 themselves. Probably 3-for-1, I think. I have not done the math. Well, they go for... yeah, it's a 2-for-1. Because that's 5 toughness. Alright, no blocks. They do not want to take the 2-for-1 special. I'm going to cycle this. I swear I'm going to draw my red card. But I hope I don't. We'll see as things progress. I think we're in a good position regardless. Even if we draw a dead card at this point in the game. I mean, drawing a Samet without the red source because we cycled it, sure, it feels bad, but I don't know what this could be, so I'm just going to keep the monitor out of harm's way. Drawing Samet feels bad because we've got the... we had the potential to get the red source, but all in all, it's just as bad as if we had top decked a land, so it's not a big deal. Death Toucher here is really sad. They straight up 1-for-1 trade with Monitor. I think that's just a guarantee at this point. Do we play Soul Stinger pre-combat then and put the counters on the Monitor? Then it has 4 toughness. The only way they can kill it is by blocking with Bone Picker still. So that way at least we have a 4-5 left over. We'll have a 4-5 left over. We just hold Great Maw back. I kind of like that. I don't know if that's right. But I kind of enjoy that. I guess the problem with that is... The problem is that with that is now they can double block with the Festering Mummies if they want. Yeah, I didn't quite think that out exactly well. Hopefully our opponent doesn't either, and they still just block with the Death Toucher, but if they double block with Mummies, they do kill the Monitor. Oh, thank goodness. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, alright. This could have panned out really badly. Double block with the Festering Mummies would kill that. And then the Bone Monitor can just kill the Great Maw, and then both of those are gone, and I just have the Soul Stinger. I'm still in a winning position that way, but I don't think that that was the ideal attack there. Ooh, start to finish. Gonna go ahead and kill my biggest creature, kill my 4/5 here, I'm guessing. Now I'm down to 3/4. Eternal of Harsh Truth gets to attack in and draw them a card here because the Soul Stinger cannot block now. So that's actually really good for our opponent there. That was a really big turn of events, that draw. And now I just have a 2/3 that can block Eternal of Harsh Truths over and over, but it still does 2 damage to us every time we block it. Yeah, start to finish was an exceptional draw for our opponent. This is very bad for us. Not a good position to be in at all. We take more damage by blocking Eternal, but we keep them off their draws, which seems important. There we go. Bitterbow Sharpshooters, that is what we need. Please don't have removal. We've done what we can to stop them from drawing removal, which is just stop them from drawing cards, period, by blocking the Eternal. Alright. They could triple block Great Maw here, and then we just kill the 1/1s. Sure, we'll hold back Great Maw then. They can't triple block Sharpshooters. Do we have cards that make us discard a card in hand? I don't believe we do. I think we just play every land we get. Disposal Mummy. Exile a card from our grave that makes our Wander in Death worse. They get rid of Sheffet Monitor here, I guess. Yep. Wander in Death is a really good draw at this point. It's kind of just the game on a silver platter. Keep sending them with the Sharpshooters. What's their best block now? They'd have 4 power out, so they just triple block with everything. I kill the Mummy and the 1/1. We're down to a 1/3 versus a 2/3. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So I think I stop attacking here. I feel like an attack puts us in just parity in a bad way. There's the red source if we draw Cement. No, 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 no. Oh, don't do this to me. Well, our opponent has won the game. Oh, there's the Wander in Death too. Yeah, there's no way out of this one. Even if you have removal for the Scarab God, it just goes back to their hand. And yeah, they can get a 4/4 every turn. That's what the Blue Splash is for. They can get 2 4/4s every turn out of our grave. Or their own grave. Yeah, there's no way. We don't have anything that'll just deal damage to them without getting through this massive board. Brutal one. Scarab God just going to show up and show us these hands. 4-1. Still in a good position. Still in a great payout. Great prize out, regardless. But I forgot about Scarab God. Scarab God, another one of the greatest limited bombs of all time. Definitely worth the blue splash, so that explains a lot of the blue mana from our opponent. Can I keep this? If I hit one land, any land, I Beneath the Sands to grab my 4th mana for Monitor. Monitor grabs my 5th mana. Any land draw gets us there, regardless of color. We have a 2-drop on turn 2, so we have our early game attacker or blocker. Yeah, I mean, I can wait till like turn 4 to hit my 3rd land with this hand, I think. We can stumble a little bit unless our opponent curves out on us. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Our first red deck. But we're not stumbling on mana. We immediately hit the 3rd land, so we get to play Beneath the Sands next turn. Guaranteed not stumbling on mana. Soulscar Mage, great card here. Turns all of their burn spells into permanent -1/-1 counters. Ooh, it's also got that great prowess trigger, so they're getting in for 3 damage in the sky here, thanks to the Cartouche of Knowledge giving it +1/+1 flying. And of course, the Cartouche of Knowledge drawing a card when it comes into play, immediately replacing itself, making sure they still have plenty of plays in hand. Alright, well, this is going to be a spicy one. I think we just go for Beneath the Sands here. If we hit our... if we hit a land drop next turn, we get to immediately play Sharpshooters, which is pretty important. Also, having mana for Final Reward is great. So we do really want to hit a land next turn still, but even if we don't, we can at least cycle the Monitor now to hit the land on turn 5, like a normal curve. But being able to actually ramp up with Beneath the Sands would be great. Just play a 5-drop on turn 4 here should be super powerful if we can do it. There's a Champion of Wits from our opponent, draws cards equal to its power, then they discard 2 cards. So it draws 2, discards 2, but then they can eternalize it as a 4/4 for 7 mana, in which case they'll draw 4, discard 2, so that is a great card late in the game here. We do hit the 5th mana, so we can immediately just slam down the Bitterbow Sharpshooters here. Yeah, I think it's worth it. Better than the Final Reward here, because now we have a blocker for the Soulscar Mage. However, if they have a red burn spell, it will be a bad time for us. Well, that would have killed it with or without the Soulscar Mage, so kind of just have to accept that there. This is definitely not ideal. Pretty strong aggressive deck here. Now we just play a 6/5. We stop the 2 damage on the ground with this. We can exile the flyer with Final Reward. Shimmer Scale Drakes, they have another bigger flyer now. It's not good at all. We do have the mana to play Hope Tender and Final Reward here. Now we kind of have to just kill the bigger flyer. Send in the squad. Take the trade to get 6 in here. The 2 mana off from bringing back champions, so they're probably not doing it. But I have to outrace this flyer here, so just push in. Unquenchable Thirst. Alright. I think this flyer is just going to close it out here. Soulscar Mage all the way to victory. Ooh, and the Vizier of the Anointed being able to grab any creature in their deck, toss it into the graveyard, letting them grab another flyer. Definitely just getting slammed by flyers this game. They also get to draw a card whenever they eternalize something from their grave or embalm it. Well, they didn't draw the 7th mana, so at least they didn't... Oh my god. They didn't draw the 7th mana, so at least they didn't get to slam down the flyer, but they have lethal thanks to Chandra here. They hit us for 3 in the sky. Chandra hits us for 1 damage off of the +1 ability. So just have lethal instead. Well, they also stop Hope Tender from blocking, so they have well over lethal. Alright, well, that was some of the brutal aggressive stuff you can do in the format. with your red cards. The blue in conjunction as well, giving them that little bit of card draw while they were bashing in with like that cartouche, just to keep them fueled and running was really good. And of course with the Champion of Wits as well, the filtering, drawing 2, discarding 2, getting rid of some lands for some more cards to play aggressively. That was a game where we definitely just got punished for playing the slower deck. The aggro deck just coming in underneath us really quickly. Alright, so here we are in round 7. Could be the last round if we lose, so let's hope not to do that. Another slow hand. If we're playing against aggro, we're going to have a bad time here. This is why I do still like having 5, 6 2-mana cards even in my slower decks, just to get something on the board and blocking early game. That being said, while this hand is slow, I think it's better to just hope our opponent isn't aggressive than to mulligan, because sure it's slow, but it's got great late game cards. It has ramp to get there early. It's got both of our colors. So there's a lot of decent stuff going for this hand, and I'm going to cycle this here. I've already got some decent late game cards, so just get some more early game cards here. Seems good. And we did get some more. We got a great 3-drop to play if we don't want to Beneath the Sands. Yeah, now we have just tons of stuff to do here. I don't think I want to cycle either of these cards, because we definitely need more mana, so Beneath the Sands can grab us that. And against a green deck, Wasteland Scorpion should be able to pick off something pretty big later in the game. It's also a 2-2 against their 1-1 here. The 1-1 will turn itself into a 2-2 eventually, but for now we can just clear out the 1-1 if we want. Alright, they're going to clear out the 1-1 themselves to have a 3-4 out. With a 3-4 out on their board, I think I do want to play the Death Toucher here and just trade with that early on, keep ourselves alive longer. Then we could play the Desert next turn and then Beneath the Sands. Yeah, it holds off their attacks. They don't even send in the 3-4 here. Alright, we draw another Beneath the Sands. That's pretty good. Could grab another green source. I don't think that I have any double green cards. I can double check. I'm pretty sure I just want to grab a red source here. All of these green cards only cost 1 green. So I won't be casting 2 green cards in one turn by grabbing the red source, but other than that... Wait, what? I clicked on a mountain. Didn't I? What is going on? Uh-oh. Am I DC'd? Arena, please. Oh my god, well, it put it out. And went to combat, and it held Beneath the Sands up here? Alright, well, we're having some arena issues, but I got my land out. Okay, Beneath the Sands. I guess we're just going to have Beneath the Sands overlooking the game for the rest of this current game. I was going to say this draft, but hopefully not. Hopefully Beneath the Sands doesn't stick around that long. That was really concerning, but we made it through, and now we can just play a big old 4-4. Vigilance. Start chipping in with that. This plays poorly into removal, because if they remove this, they just slam us for 5. But 10 life is still a relatively hardy life total. Ooh. Alright, well that punishes us way more than removal would have. The cartouche for the lifelink here. Ooh, Samet. Surprise Samet. That'll be the play next turn. That's for sure. I mean, we're just going to trade our Death Toucher into the lifelinker if they send in again, but we'll Samet in the end step to get more damage in. What combat trick nonsense do ye hold? Was this a Wrath? Bonsu's Last Reckoning or something? We just got 1 creature out. I don't know. I don't think they'd Wrath 1 creature. Baleful Amit. I guess it was just a moderately weird attack. Just wanted to get some trades in. Unless they have another cartouche. Ooh, they do to clear out the sharpshooters here. All right, that'll do it. I see what the goal was there. Well, goodbye, Bitterbow sharpshooters, and hello, Samet. Double strike against a 3 toughness creature is beautiful. We could cartouche it here, but it already just wins combat straight up. It just first strikes away the Baleful Amet. I don't know. I guess it's also good to get it off the board because we do double strike in for 8 damage, even though they're going to gain some life here. They're going to gain some life by me doing this, but then they're going to take 8. They would have taken 6 anyway, but I guess just guaranteeing that dies, even if they follow up with a removal spell, seems worth it to me. Probably cycling Beneath the Sands here. Vile Manifestation is going to be a 2/3, right? Oh my god, it's going to be massive. It's going to be a 4/3 for 2? Ooh, our opponent had to cycle their 7/7 because they only had 6 mana and not 7. That's brutal. Because they're taking 8 a turn to this double striker. They can't really wait for more lands. Yeah, our Vile Manifestation is actually going to be pretty big. I do need to remember that Samet gives haste, so we'll play the Manifestation here. Play the Soul Stinger here, I guess. Anything else we play here is just going to hit for 2, so it doesn't really matter between all of them. So I'll just play the most expensive one, which is one of the 4 mana ones. And they're down to 6. All right, Samet, the voice of dissent, taking us all the way to victory there. We are now 5-2, which means we are fully in the money rather than just breaking even. Get a little bit of extra gems and some bonus packs. Super great draft this time around. See how things go as we head into round 8 here. I think yet again, just ideally not playing against anything too aggressive. There are a lot of decks that can definitely outcurve this one. We've got a bit of a top-heavy deck here. So just coming in quickly underneath all of our spells can just slap us around. Okay. I get that Hope Tender for sure. I cycle Wander in Death to look for the black source. I mean, I'll keep it. We have a plan, even if it is a little reliant on our draws. A lot of removal here, which is good. Oh, now we have a great turn 2, turn 3. Well, Vile Manifestation is going to block us all day long, unless we play this as a 4/5. If I play it as a 4/5, I have to kill our Hope Tender. Which is a pretty bad deal. Just 2 for 1 ourselves in order to get a 4/5. Do I just cycle Wander in Death here instead? Because putting a 2/3 out him doesn't really put any more pressure on our opponent. I guess we have Lethal Sting and Final Reward available as soon as we hit a black source, so it's kind of okay to just play the creature out even if it's not attacking in this turn. And also, if Vile Manifestation is the only creature on their board, we could attack with both 2 power creatures. Ooh, Trial of Zeal, clear out the Great Maw? They clear out the Hope Tender, interesting. Hope Tender not that good. I guess it pans out because we draw the 5-drop. Cycle here. Hope Tender, of course. The reason that I say it's not that good is because we have to exert it to get a mana out of it. If we just pay 1, tap it, untap a land, we have the exact same amount of mana as we would have otherwise. So in order to actually be up a mana, you have to exert that card, whereas like Oasis Ritualist, you're just always up a mana. Cartouche of Ambition to get lifelink throw the Trial of Zeal back into the hand. Yep, the trials are very good. I did pick up cartouches pretty aggressively, but I don't think we saw a single on-color trial. All draft here. Alright, so they can like Trial of Zeal to kill our Great Maw. Which is fine. Everything else we have is more than 3 toughness. I guess if they have another Cartouche of Ambition, then our Bitterbow Sharpshooters could get turned into a 3/3 and then Trial of Zeal, which isn't great. I do think I just want to play the Sharpshooters, though. Because then I have a creature out to start attacking with after I use one of these removal spells. If I just remove Manifestation and attack with a 0/2 or a 1/2, we're not really living the dream there. Yeah, let's just play the Bitterbow Sharpshooters. They're going to have to use 2 removal spells to kill it. Because 3 damage doesn't do it. Yeah, Trial of Zeal is pretty phenomenal, but I think all of the trials are very good. Trial of Zeal might be the best one, though. Repeatedly casting a cheap removal spell is pretty bonkers. Bone Picker is the play so that they have a good blocker for the Bitterbow Sharpshooters, but now we have Cartouche of Strength. Cartouche of Strength can kill the Bone Picker at the cost of our Great Maw. We do need to get the 1/5 out of the way, or the Sharpshooters doesn't do anything anyway. So I guess we can Cartouche of Strength the 1/5 later, but for now just get rid of the Bone Picker. And I think I'd like to just Lethal Sting it over anything else. We have 5 mana up. If we had 6 mana up, we could kill both and then swing in, which would be a very fun time. Very good time, but for now, I think we just Lethal Sting the Bone Picker. Choosing to do Lethal Sting instead of Final Reward so that I have a removal spell I can play even if they kill all of my creatures. Choosing to do it over Cartouche of Strength because we can use Cartouche of Strength to make the Sharpshooters a 5/5, which is big enough to attack into the Manifestation. But if we used Cartouche of Strength on Great Maw into that thing, then it would have been a lot worse. See, because now we can Cartouche of Strength to have Sharpshooters kill the Ceradon, and then on future turns this gets to attack in past that, which is really good. We can't attack in this turn because we've taken 4 damage, so if we do so, the Sharpshooters will die. But for future turns, now we can actually get past a 1/5 because we're a 5/5. So this may be, yeah, I was going to say this may be when they just pop a removal spell. But board's pretty stale here. We're kind of just staring at each other. We're going to keep taking 1 damage a turn, because if I block Vile Manifestation, they can throw the Trial of Zeal at our Ritualist, because it will have taken 1 damage. It'll be 3 toughness after that. So we've got to just keep letting them drain us for 1 life with the Vile Manifestation if they send in those attacks. Maybe they'll spend a removal spell on it, just like an actual removal spell on it. Alright, Soul Stinger. If we exile Soul Stinger, it doesn't get its death trigger, which is good. So do I just exile it? I mean, they have 3 cards in hand after a Soul Stinger. We can block a Soul Stinger all day. Actually, we can't, because if we block it, we die to Trial of Zeal. We're not in a fantastic position here. I feel like we probably just pop the Soul Stinger, because then we're back to the stalemate of just taking 1 a turn. Like, because if we don't get rid of it, we're taking 3 a turn. I guess we're at 19, so we can take that for a little while. It might be best to hold on to Final Reward for a couple turns here, because we don't know what else is in their hand, but it's not lands. So that's just brutally bad for us. Play a better creature, please. They might just pass turn here. They do chip away for 3 a turn pretty easily. They always have the threat of activation of the Trial of Zeal to clear out the Ritualist. Thresher Lizard. So 3/2, I wouldn't say that's a better creature. We get to kill that if it attacks. Unless they make their hand way smaller. Exemplar of Strength. Put 3 -1/-1s on a creature we control. We just kill the Great Maw because Great Maw is accomplishing absolutely nothing at this point anyway. And that way we have a 4/4 blocker. Seems good. So now I'm going to block with the Ritualist a lot more freely, because if they pop the Ritualist with the Trial of Zeal, then they won't have it for the Exemplar of Strength unless they have another cartouche. Which I guess is pretty likely. It's a lot easier to pick up the cartouches than the Trials. So the fact that they just have a Trial in hand is pretty brutal for us, because they're very likely to draw more cartouches throughout the game. Cycle of Vile Manifestation. There's the 6th mana for our opponent. They have the mana to do 3 damage with Trial of Zeal. Yeah, so anything I block with here can get shot by the Trial. I mean, now Vile Manifestation's a 2/5 lifelink, so do we just exile that? Alright, well, if they have like a really big card after this, then I think we kind of just die due to card advantage issues anyway. Because they've already got just a million more cards than us. There's the Trial we've been waiting for. But now we're okay to get rid of it because that means the 4/4 stays around. And now the 4/4 can block the 3/2. But the 2/3 chips away at us. Because if we block that, then we die. Alright, final reward it is. No creatures on board. Take 5. They grab a blue source. Is it a Scarab God? Do you have a Scarab God to show me, opponent? You got a gift for me? They do. Oh no! It's happening again! Alright, well, I'll cycle Vile Manifestation and I guess see if we draw a Bonsu's Last Reckoning or something that we don't have. Well, that's gonna do it for us. 5 and 3. Well, I mean, I guess holding that final death in the long run might have been better, but because that's the only way we could permanently kill a Scarab God. It doesn't come back if you exile it. That being said, oh my god, our opponent's deck is super sick. We're incredibly dead regardless. Now we're just going to get Torment of Hail fired for like -1,000,000. Oh yeah. Yeah, our opponent was already running laps around us with the double Trial of Zeal there being really good. Trial and then being able to recast it off cartouche. That just immediately started a big disparity between the number of cards that we had access to and the number of cards that they had available. And then from that point on, those last couple turns, that was just gravy. That was just gravy on the mashed potatoes, as you say. So 1,600 gems and 4 packs absolutely got it handed to us in the losses we had, but still 5 wins, so we end with a net positive result. We're up in gems, always a good place to be. So let's see what we get in these final packs here. A nice Gideon of the Trials. This is one of those Platinum Angel style cards. You can make an emblem with Gideon that makes it so you can't lose the game as long as you control Gideon. So if you play like a Gideon and give Gideon indestructible somehow or something like that, that is a silly thing you can do. Never to return. 2 more rares here. A rare wild card, always a good card to hit. And finally, a mythic wild card. So some wild cards to end it all off. But that is going to end today's draft. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all are having fun with Amonkhet. Nice change of pace. I always love it after the new set comes out. It doesn't matter how good the new draft format is. After just a month of drafting pretty much exclusively one set, I am always ready for a bit of variety in the draft. I am at my core a variety drafter. I love drafting a little bit of everything. So definitely having a fun time with Amonkhet Remastered, and I'm going to have a really fun time these next couple weeks as they cycle through draft formats. Amonkhet Remastered is swapping out to Kaladesh Remastered up next, and then Ikoria. So excited about all that stuff, and yeah, pretty fun draft overall. I hope you all enjoyed the draft as much as I enjoyed playing it, and I will see you all again very soon for some more Magic Arena.